Good morning. So I have a question for you. Are you one of those people who are stuck in their old ways? Still doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting a different result? Or for something to change, but it won't be you because you've got your way of doing things. See, perfectionism is a dis-ease. Perfectionism is something that keeps us small, it holds us back, and often is our biggest obstacle. It relies solely on the ego because everything has to be perfect according to your beliefs, your attachments to the way things should be, look, see, feel, touch, taste. Perfectionism keeps us small. We don't grow if we're unwilling to step out of the bounds of whatever that perfectionism, whatever that ideal is for us in our minds. Because the minds keep us small. The ego keeps us stuck in this little box of the way we control. If we're controlling every aspect of our life, how are we ever going to have a new experience or grow outside of that? It's like putting a plant in a small pot and expecting that plant to get huge, but it can't because its roots can never go beyond the size of that pot. We do it to ourselves, and that's that ego. Ergo, the ego, let go. Because perfectionism doesn't mean progress. Perfectionism means being held back. It hinders us. It doesn't help us. Anything from the way the flowers are arranged to the way a chair sits at the table, to the relationships you have, the way food tastes, the way your car drives, everything in our lives, if we're over-controlling and attached to the way they should be, is a form of perfectionism. I must do this way or this won't happen. You don't even know that. But that's how attached and how stuck in perfectionism many of us can be, have been, and are. I know, I'm one. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I'm constantly working on that. Everything in my life, from the way that my life should have unfolded and expecting certain things to happen, has been the root cause of my own suffering. But I've been willing enough and humble enough to look at it and recognize it. And the only way you can see if you are your own obstacle, perfect in the mind, a perfect obstacle could be you if you're willing to consider it. We are our own masters of our destiny and our lives. And so you have to be mindful, you have to be aware, you have to see your patterns and be willing to confront and challenge them. Perfectionism isn't going to create the best life that you need or want. All it's going to do is give you this sense of control, but yet you'll still never be satisfied. Because the ego is never satisfied unless it looks exactly the way it wants it to be. If you are a perfectionist to the T, then nothing will ever serve or satisfy you because it has to look a certain way. And if it doesn't fit those conditions, then you get upset, you create your own suffering, and on and on and on. But it takes a willingness to step back and to recognize, am I too perfect? Or am I finally making some progress in my life? Have I been too attached to old beliefs, patterns, habits, routines that I'm unwilling to budge, compromise, or consider there may be an easier way of doing things? Perfectionists can also try to control everyone and everything around them, can't they? Trying to make people do things that they insist that they only know the answer to. And never considering that maybe somebody else may have some insight to assist, maybe make it easier. But that's where the willingness to be open to allowing others and yourself to step outside of that construct, that box, that confinement, that prison of your mind. You may find you're even more delighted when you find that perfectionism is just a dis-ease. And when you dis that, you can find your ease. So as a recovering perfectionist, I have to check myself and look at, am I too attached to something? Because if I'm too attached, then that in itself shows I'm trying to control. And if I can let go of the control, because I don't have it to begin with, that's the other illusion, I may be opening myself up to receiving much easily, much more, and more fulfilling, rich life. This is the key to living that I'm working on myself, is if you can let go of all that attachment and just trust in the knowing. You might not know what it looks like, you might not know what it tastes like, what it touches and feels, and hearing it. None of that's going to be evident until it happens. So stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to label everything. Stop trying to put control where you don't even have it to begin with. Just trust. It's the only thing that's going to carry you and allow yourself to receive more. And I want to share that it's not always going to be easy. But just take a step back and breathe. It'll all work itself out. You made it this far, baby. So. It's kind of like with meditation when you're first starting. A lot of people are so stuck in perfectionism, they don't even realize they'll say things like, oh, I can't do that because I'm not flexible. I can't sit in meditation because I just can't sit still. As if that perfect idea or ideal is even relevant. If you don't try it, you can't know. And it takes practice just like anything. There is never going to be a perfect meditation. There is never going to be perfect timing. There just is. And it's just the mind that gets just stuck in the idea that it just has to be that way. So just let that stuff go. Stop trying to control it all, because that's all perfectionism is about control. And once you recognize you don't even have control, and you surrender to that and allow yourself to just be, your life will become much easier. I think I'm getting cards that I don't want to do. What would love do? And there's the key. Perfectionism is not driven by love, it's driven by fear. So what would love do? Because love's eyes are perfect. Love's eyes, looking through the eyes with love, you will find everything's perfect just as it is, without your need to change or control it. So what would love do? Do you know why it's so easy for us in the unseen to quickly pinpoint your whereabouts? You leave behind footprints of love. Aw, love the universe. P.S. The legend of Bigfoot continues. That's cute. That is super cute. So consider that. What would love do? Step outside the boundaries, the confines of perfectionism. Ask yourself, what is it about this that I'm fearful of, that I'm not allowing it to just be, and accept it with love? So have a very beautiful day. I love you all. Let your footprints lead the way and leave behind those trails of love.